What's in a name? All about nouns and pronouns. You probably know all this, but sometimes it is a good thing not to take our understanding of nouns for granted. What are nouns? How would we ever communicate or even think if we didn't have agreed upon names for things? We learn language by a parent and adult pointing to things and saying chair, or nose, or mama, or dirigible. Okay, not too many babies learn that one early on. Nouns are a system of naming. Nouns name people, places, and things. Everything that exists has a name. Even those intangible things that we can't see or touch have a name. If we didn't have names for things, we would literally be unable to exchange ideas, explain how to do things, or navigate our world. There are actually two kinds of names, nouns and proper nouns. Nouns name everyday things like keys, automobiles, and bowling balls. Proper nouns are specific names for things. For example, instead of a friend, you might say Jerry. Instead of a month, you might say August. Instead of a language, you might say English, or French, or German, or Spanish, or Swahili. A proper noun gives a specific name, singling out one thing or person from a whole group. Then there are things called pronouns. These are not the opposite of amateur nouns. Tee-hee. They are substitutions for nouns and proper nouns, so that we don't become repetitious, so that we don't become repetitious, so that we don't become repetitious, so that we don't... See how annoying that is? Pronouns break down into three categories. The subjective, which means they are part of the subject of a sentence, the main actor of the sentence. I hit the ball. The objective, which means they are part of the object of a sentence. I hit it a long distance. The possessive, which tells who the subject or the object belongs to. I hit my ball out of the park. Pronouns, subjective, objective, possessive, include I, me, my, we, us, our, you, your, he, him, his, she, her, her, it, its, they, them, their. Don't worry too much about being able to identify the subjective, the objective, and the possessive just now, as they will eventually become second nature to your ear, and you will understand these categories as you become comfortable with sentence structure. You wouldn't say, Jerry finished Jerry's ice cream. You'd say, Jerry finished his ice cream. Or instead of saying, friends are very important. Friends keep us company. Friends cheer us up and make us laugh at ourselves. You might say, friends are very important. They keep us company. They cheer us up and make us laugh at ourselves. Note, we only know what the sentence is about because there is an initial noun, the antecedent, that lets us know what they refers to in subsequent sentences. Otherwise, if we went, they are very important, they keep us company, they cheer us up and make us laugh at ourselves, we would be asking who? Remember, you always want people to know what you're talking or writing about, so it is important they are on the same track as you are. Being able to track nouns and pronouns so that we know what's being talked about is essential to good communication. Because we're taught nouns and even pronouns at an early age, they are a regular part of our speech. Yet somehow when we write, we seem to forget to clarify so that someone can follow what we are saying. By being aware of the use of nouns and pronouns, you can keep your reader engaged. Finally, it's important to know how nouns or pronouns function in a sentence. A sentence is broken into three parts: subject, verb, object. The verb is an action: running, jumping, singing, chewing, etc. The subject requires a noun that does that activity. The bug jumps. The worm turns. The stomach aches. The object receives the action. Gabby fed the dog. Ruth wore her new dress. Jim ate the horse. Jim always was a bit strange. By having nouns and pronouns, we have a better understanding of who did the behavior and who received the behavior. You always want to make sure that your verb usage matches your noun. For example, you wouldn't say, arachnophobia are the fear of spiders. You would say, arachnophobia is the fear of spiders. Arachnophobia is a single fear, even though it is a fear of a group. Nor would you say, I is going to the store, but I am going to the store. You are the only one going to the store, so the verb is am going versus is going. And you wouldn't say, give the ball to he. You'd say, give the ball to him. In this case, the pronoun works as the object, the recipient of the action. But if he was the actor, the subject, instead of the recipient, then it would be he gave the ball to me instead of him gave the ball to me. In short, keeping our nouns and pronouns clear help us communicate our ideas clearly. First, we must determine whether they are normal nouns or proper nouns, he versus Jerry. Then we must determine their relationship to the verb, they go to the store versus he goes to the store. Then we must decide whether they are part of the subject or the object. I bought the car for she versus I bought the car for her. Keep nouns and pronouns clear. Make sure we know the antecedent for the pronouns, as in friends drove us to the party. They were going to the party too, versus they drove us to the party. They were going there too. If our nouns and pronouns are clear and used properly, then we will be able to follow the logic and know who did what to whom.